Inviting us in, it's 11 o'clock. We'll have more on those stories in a moment. But first, we've got breaking news tonight that may delay the trial for the upcoming Delphi murders. Late today, attorneys for the suspect, Richard Allen, filed a notice with the court signaling that they plan to file an appeal with the State Court of Appeals. Now, typically it can take months for the judges to issue an opinion, and during that time, the original case is basically on hold. So if that happens in this case, it could mean Allen's trial, which is scheduled for October 14th, might be delayed. Now, we're still working to understand exactly what the defense is appealing, but the judge did rule a couple of weeks ago that they would not be allowed to talk about Odinism or other possible suspects, key items to their defense. Richard Allen is accused of murdering Libby German and Abby Williams back in February of 2017. He's pleading not guilty and has maintained his innocence all along. Now, you can get caught up on all the developments in the Delphi case by scanning this QR code. It'll take you right to WTHR.com/Delphi. That's where you can find all of our extensive coverage about this investigation. Tonight, a pivotal move by the City County Council. Just hours ago, councilors approved the creation of a committee to investigate how the mayor's administration handled sexual harassment complaints. Now, it follows allegations against the mayor's former top aide, Thomas Cook, who's accused tonight of sexually harassing at least 2 women who work for the city and the campaign. Tonight, our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick shares reactions from the councilors and when the committee will start.
During Monday's council meeting,
let us take it to the board for Proposal 287.
Councilors on both sides of the aisle sending a strong message to Mayor Joe Hogsett and his administration.
Who knew? When did they know?
I think we all agree that something needs to be done.
Again, it's important that we take the time to do a deep dive into what's taken place over the last few years.
Motion carries 22 yeas, 1 nay, and 1 abstention.
Councilors gave the green light to form an investigative committee to look at the city's handling of sexual harassment complaints. The move comes after multiple allegations of a culture of harassment within City Hall. Councilors Krista Carlino and Jessica McCormick helped sponsor the proposal.
This isn't about one person. This is about flaws and errors in the system and how we got to this point and what changes we can make to go forward.
The committee will be made up of 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. They will review the city's policies and also hire an outside firm to dig into the city's handling of investigations. The committee will also have the power to subpoena witnesses and documents, a move that comes with support from Council Republicans.
My goal is to see what happened, why it happened, and how long it was known that it was going on, and to be able to hold these bad actors accountable no matter which office they were in.
The only councilor to vote against the proposal was Ron Gibson. When asked why,
we need to give the mayor a chance to make this thing right. I believe that a former U.S. attorney knows what to do here, and he's already started the process of making things right.
Mayor Hogsett did not attend the meeting and was not made available for questions. Instead, his team sent a statement that read in part, "I remain committed to working with the City County Council and the entire administration to make continued changes to our policies and practices." The council will decide Tuesday who will sit on this committee.
Hearing no further motions, we're adjourned. Thank you.
And once formed, the investigative committee will be required to meet once a month. When once selected, this outside firm will need to submit a report to the council by the end of February. Scott?
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. Now, a couple of councilors are now advocating for change after 4 IMPD officers were arrested for child sex crimes just this year. Councilors Rena Allen and Carlos Perkins say the current ordinance protects officers from immediate termination when they're arrested. This measure says a civilian police merit board will establish disciplinary action when an officer is suspended. Councilor Allen told us policy changes are necessary to remove bad actors from the force. The councilors say they will introduce a proposal later this fall. Now, we reached out tonight to IMPD. The police chief, Chris Bailey, sent us the statement saying he hasn't reviewed the councilor's proposal, but says, "I want to emphasize that recent troubling behavior within the IMPD will not be tolerated." Chief Bailey went on to say he welcomes the discussion to ensure officer accountability. Now, the council is also considering a plan tonight to invest more than $200 million in our city's roads and bridges. This proposal would allocate that money in next year's operating budget. Councilor Josh Bain introduced this plan, saying the city needs an additional $450 million a year to keep up with current infrastructure needs. Now, this now heads to the Public Works Committee, and it's expected to go before the full council toward the end of this month. The city of Indianapolis is getting nearly $20 million to improve safety on our roads. This grant funding comes from the U.S. Department of Transportation. City leaders say the Safe Streets and Roads for All program will provide money to multiple areas across Indianapolis, including North Post Road, East 30th Street, Lyndhurst Drive, East 42nd Street, East Franklin Road, and East Thompson Road. Now, according to the mayor's office tonight, the grant will fund improvements to sidewalks, crosswalks, and trails. Plus, Indigo bus stop improvements in areas with high ridership. Design work for these projects set to start in 2025. And starting tomorrow, you could see speed limits as low as 35 miles per hour along a stretch of I-465 here in Indy. So tonight we want you to be ready when you head out the door in the morning. INDOT is launching its variable speed limit sign. So this means how fast you can go will depend on certain conditions. Our Logan Gay breaks down what this means for drivers.
This is what professional driver Lloyd Gombe would like to see on the road. He's been driving a truck for 24 years.
Less accidents, less problems on the road, and less delay of time.
Kylie Kramer with INDOT says they hope the new variable speed limits will help with that. She says they've been in place for a while, but they're going live Tuesday.
If we see an accident or inclement weather or things of that nature, it's going to lower the speed limit in 5-mile-per-hour increments, or it'll stay at 55 miles an hour.
The standard speed is 55 miles per hour, but depending on the situation, the speed limit could go as low as 35 miles per hour.
It's all really working together hand in hand to ensure one's safety and also slowing down that speed that we're seeing in this area.
Gabi thinks this could be a good thing. He's driven trucks all over the country, including right here in Indianapolis. He says he's seen variable speed limits work other places.
I have been in the areas that has that, it depends upon the traffic, slow people down, which I think that would be good.
But he says that's not the only problem he sees.
But it's a speed, yes, but it's people not paying attention. I think that's the biggest problem.
He hopes drivers being aware that the speed could change at any time will make people more alert.
Paying attention going down the road, just pay attention to other drivers, watch what they're doing,
So, Logan, where will drivers see these signs on I-465?
Well, Scott, they'll see them on the southeast side between 65 and 70. So if you're in that area, be warned because police will be enforcing the posted speed limits. So it's important for drivers to be mindful of these changes.
All right, good to know. Logan Gay, thanks. Angela?
Logan and Scott will start with a rush hour forecast tomorrow morning. Nothing to slow you down in terms of weather out the door. Cool again, upper 40s and low 50s, so maybe grab the jacket or the sweatshirt. 53 degrees at 8 a.m. Sunrise tomorrow is at 7:21. Tomorrow afternoon we warm, expecting highs in the mid 80s with some hazy sunshine. That haze will actually be a thin layer of smoke. Unfortunately, that smoke from fires out west may get a little thicker Wednesday and Thursday this week. We'll keep you updated on any changes to the air quality.
Angela, thanks so much. Tonight at 11, police are still working to determine how a woman ended up dead in a wooded area on the southeast side of our city. Right now, officers confirmed that they're investigating this case as a homicide. The woman's body discovered around 1 o'clock today near Raymond Street and Sherman Drive. Now, investigators tonight are telling us that family members had not heard from the woman since the weekend and reported her missing this morning. Police haven't released any information yet about a possible suspect or a motive, but if you have any information about this case, please call IMPD or Crime Stoppers. Phone numbers on your screen, and you don't have to give your name. More than a dozen stolen guns tonight are on the streets after a break-in at a gun store in Greenwood. Police tell us that someone crashed a stolen car into this building and took an estimated 20 handguns. All of this unfolding early this morning at Greenwood Trading Post. That's near State Road 135 and Fry Road. But this is not the first time we've seen this happen. You remember last month, thieves drove into the 9-gun store in Anderson, taking several firearms. Then last year in Winchester, Indiana, more than 50 guns were stolen. And in May of 2023, more than 40 guns were taken after a carjacked SUV slammed right into Beech Grove Firearms.
Because this is becoming more and more prevalent, many of the gun store owners and licensees are actually taking proactive steps to keep this from happening. So they've started reinforcing their buildings, reinforcing the perimeters with things like boulders or steel beams.
So tonight we reached out to Greenwood Police about this morning's case. Here's what we were told. Officers have surveillance video from Greenwood Trading Post, but they're not sharing it yet. People at the business declined to comment.